Right, so in this video, I am doing a demo of the artwork aspect for the week 7 assignment. So starting off here, this is after I've done some rounds of just initial, really rough doodling, writing down words, sort of connecting things together in my brain. And I am starting off here on some graph paper with a non-photo blue pencil. And later on, I will ink over that with a gel pen. And I'll use that as a template to take into Illustrator and trace over with some vector artwork. One of the reasons that we, do this sort of staging in any artwork, but especially in games, is it's really important to think about how everything's going to work together for something interactive. And doing this sort of artwork development gives you chances to really think things through, make sure that your art elements are going to work together, make sure that they're going to express the things that you are interested in expressing and highlighting in your interactive work in your games. So this is a really crucial part, and it's not the place to skimp. And in fact, doing the artwork, spending the time, doing the development makes your job much easier down the line, because then you don't run into these situations where you're halfway through coding a game and you realize something's really off in the artwork, or the major concept just isn't coming through. I'll also post some of the text examples from the bullet points 1, 2, and 3 of the assignment for this week, just sort of going over my ideas for what this game might end up being in the long run. But in a nutshell, kind of imagining a fictional world that is very self-referential to my experience of the last year and a half with COVID. Also, just making a game that's sort of a self-portrait or a reflection of the things that I've gone through in my life personally over that time. And so I want to sort of reference those, also abstract those creatively, and make some situations that I think can, give folks interaction and give folks choice that will allow them to explore these ideas and these experiences that I've been through. So my setting is going to be an indoor domestic setting, mostly centered around a window looking to the outside world and a laptop computer. I think I might also, after I've drawn this and sort of thought about it, I might either change the laptop to a smartphone or also include a smartphone. But sort of thinking of this balance between inside and outside is, I think going to be interesting to me. And again, that's part of the reason why I'm going through this process, is to sort of think through whether my intuitions will check out, and whether I need to make changes to really address the things that I'm interested in expressing. So I'm just spending time here, again, roughly, doing a sort of midway development sketch. I'm also going to add some additional characters here that will be part of the relationship between what's going on between my sort of internal experience of the game and the external world. So sort of thinking of those, the window and the computer, as kind of like portals or entryways to communicating with other people, thinking of occupying that internal domestic space as a way to kind of communicate with myself, for better or worse. You may be able to relate to that if you've spent a lot of time sort of isolated and alone during lockdown like I have. So I want some sort of visual representations of those sort of feelings and situations. So I'm thinking of sort of ghosty monsters type things, one for my internal experience, one for the experience of the outside world, and one for the sort of virtual digital experience. So I'm sketched those out. I am taking them onto my flatbed scanner and scanning them in as JPEGs. Now, if you don't have a scanner, not a big deal. You can download scanning apps. You can also just use your smartphone camera, and you can get some pretty good results as long as your lighting is set up correctly. I will link to a reference video that will show you some tips and tricks for doing good photography, if you don't have a scanner. The good thing is, we're just using these as references. So I'm just going to get them scanned in at pretty high resolution, about 300 pixels per inch. I'm going to get them laid out into just one single sheet as a pixel image in Photoshop. So I'm just getting all my layers here, getting all my individual elements. I am going to make a canvas that just holds everything, and then I'll use that as my reference layer once I jump into Illustrator, and then I can use that to build up my vector images. So you can see here I'm just making some changes to the canvas. At this point, I'm not being super careful about relative scale, in terms of, I want my character to take up 40% of the screen, so the other things need to take up 20% of the screen, for example. Now I'm just kind of getting things laid out, and later on I'll worry about that relative sizing. I am just making sure that everything can be hitting the size requirements for this round of the assignment. So I'm sending this out as a PDF with all the original high-res imagery, and then I'm also going to save out a JPEG. That'll allow me to have slightly smaller version of my reference image, and that I can take into Illustrator and use for tracing.